Group Captain Jay Kishan took over the charge of Principal HMI, that is Himalayan Mountaineering Institute, on December 17, 2018. He is an alumni of HMI. He successfully completed his basic and advanced course from HMI in the year 2001 and 2002 respectively. Keeping the true spirit of the institute, he kept climbing from peak to peak, living with the true motto of HMI. He is the recipient of Tenzing Norgay National Adventure Award from President of India, which is equivalent to Arjuna Award. He holds 3 world records and 6 national records in the field of skydiving and land sports. Group Captain Jay Kishan has 8 mountaineering expeditions under his belt, including 3 8,000ers, Everest, Lhotse, and Mount Jo Oyu. He is one among the very few mountaineers in the country who had climbed highest peak in American continent, including Mount Denali and Mount Aconcagua. Welcome, sir. Welcome to our show. So I'll begin asking the first question. Please tell us how you began mountaineering and what inspired you to take up this adventure sport.
First of all, namaskar to everyone and greetings from Himalayan Mountain Institute, Darjeeling.
Greetings.
It is a very difficult question to answer how I started and what to inspire me to begin into get into mountaineering. And in a layman, if I ask any child or any student, or if I ask you which is the highest peak of the world, the answer is Mount Everest. As you grow up, you have different dreams. You want to explore the world. You want to things and try the thing which is not done. So I think everyone has some adrenaline rush into it. They want to explore something new, and this is and the story for me was not different. So we're keeping that dream to do something different and explore something new kept me motivating and pushed me to into skydiving first and later on into mountaineering.
Very nice. So tell us something about this HMI. Uh, uh, who all can get enrolled? Not everybody can be as fit as you are. So people like me sitting in Bangalore who are working, or people in Delhi, for example. What is the general profile of a person who can take up mountaineering as a sport, as a recreation, or to relieve stress?
See, there is no fixed criteria that who can do, who cannot do. Even you can do very much. You can climb Everest. Rather, I'll say you're climbing Everest every day in your routine life too. So, but every profession has certain do's and don'ts and criteria. So, I'll just say that a person should be keen to get into outdoor sports. If you talk about the age factor, it could be as early as 8 years
Okay.
and as old as you can. I'll not say old, but it could be any age.
All
There
right.
are people who climb Everest at the age of 73, and
Wow.
the youngest people who climb Everest is getting around 12 years old. So age is just a numerical value.
Okay.
Physical strength, physical stamina is one part. Above physical stamina, I'll say mental strength, the focus, determination, and how far we can push, how best we can perform in the crisis, maintaining our goal, and keep on pursuing it, not to giving up at any stage. So it's the adventure sports are open for anyone, irrespective of gender, irrespective of age.
Of the wellness channel, Mr. Jay. So I have a question like, what changes would a person see inside him or her once he climbs Mount Everest? We see so many stories that it is very difficult to climb Mount Everest. We all know that, but still people go. So what exactly is the personal development a person faces, or what is the outcome on an emotional level once you are climbing mountains, in particular Mount Everest?
Yeah. I'll touch Mount Everest at a later stage. Let me tell you why and people should pursue adventure sports. Adventure is not only just to for fun sake or just getting into outdoor activity. It's build a personality. Adventure, once you're doing any adventure activity, whether it's a land sports, water sports, it could be air sports, a person is exposed to extremes in adverse condition, adverse circumstances. And when we are working in adverse circumstances in hostile environment, we are surviving, we are learning. We develop team spirit, we develop leadership quality, we develop courage, and we start thinking out of box. There's a concept, think we keep on saying think out of box. But sitting in an office and we are in a comfortable zone, we are solving problem. But when we get outdoor into the outdoor activity or doing adventure sports in hostile environment, that time we break that out of box boundary. We think beyond that box. So adventure is one part. Now talking about Mount Everest, we all know it's the highest peak on this earth. There are different routes to climb Mount Everest, starting from Nepal side, then Tibet side. There are 14 prominent routes to climb Mount Everest. First of all, if you talk about mountaineering is not only climbing Mount Everest, it's a journey. To become a mountaineer is not only just doing a basic course or the refresher course or the advanced course, it's a building of a character, a personality who can sustain certain ethos, certain practices for longer duration. We call it mountain manism. How to survive and live in hostile environment and how to perform best. That is mountaineering.
Okay.
About Mount Everest, reaching Mount Everest, it's a long journey. Person has to get into basic course, develop some certain skills, climb smaller scale, 6,000 meters, then 7,000 meters, then it comes to 8,000 meters. Everest is 29,030 feet, 8848 meters, the highest point on the earth. I could not reach on the summit. We had seen fatal. We lost one climber during our expedition, so we withdrew after summit. But the lifelong lesson we learned during that expedition is unforgettable. When you spend close to about 1.5 months to 2 months at 17,000 feet and high, you are seeing blizzards, you are seeing snowfall, and there is scarcity of ration. There is no luxury. It's only hardship. And when you come back from this expedition, this kind of expedition or like outdoor activity, the experience which you gain and the confidence that if we have survived, we have done our best in that hostile environment and in adversity. So we can survive anywhere on this earth in worst of circumstances. So this is what adventure supports a person to develop a personality, which he can carry on for throughout his life.
I think you become more adaptable to your environment around you. You would be complaining less and being more appreciative of the comfort you are in a city life.
Very true, because your वो बोलते हैं, ख्वाहिशें कम होती आती है and you start living whatever you have, you become contented. And once you see the Mother Earth, the goddess, and the Mother Nature, we feel that we are so small entity in this whole universe. The nature is too big. We cannot fight against nature. And when we get into adventure, especially when we get close to mountains, we becomes at time, I'll not say fully spiritual, but some part you get into spirituality too.
You feel closer to God.
Exactly. You start respecting human being, human life.
Okay.
That is more important.
So I'm sitting in Bangalore, and you are in Darjeeling, which I'm presuming is a cold place. So if I want to start my mountaineering lesson, which time of the year would be best to come to you and enroll and do? And also, how much time will I take to complete some sort of mountaineering experience, which is going to help me as a person?
We conduct various courses, starting with the basic course, that is introductory course for 28 days duration,
1 month. Okay.
and candidates or aspirant who secured alpha grading, they can apply for advanced course.
Okay.
Duration remains 28 days.
All right.
So out of these 28 days, we conduct about 8 days training at HMI
Okay.
in Bali at a height of 6,200 feet. And after that, subsequent to that, our trainings go to Sikkim area. In Sikkim, we had our base camp at a height of 14,600 feet, and they spent close to 2 weeks' time to learn icecraft and snowcraft, the actual professional mountaineering. And if you talk about the best time to do these courses, so we run these courses from March till May end, and the second season start from mid September till mid December. So this is for the basic course, advanced course, and another course known as search and rescue course, method instructions course. Apart of that, we do run adventure courses for all age group.
Okay.
Even the small kid as young as 12-year-old, and I'll not say the age, but yes, even 75 or 80 years old people can come, and they can be part of our adventure activities. They can learn survival skill, and when I say survival skill, you can link it with adventure.
Yes, I was going to ask you that because once we talk about mountaineering, the first thing that comes to your mind is climbing. But when you go to in the wilderness, you can have bears, you can have snakes, you can have rains also. So, do you think? I want to ask you, like, if I come to your institute, will I be trained in such aspects also? How to save myself from a snake bite or insect bite during this particular time period?
Yes, we have various topics. We have a complete syllabus in which we cover all aspects of mountaineering and the wilderness too.
Okay.
Basically, we are promoting mountaineering and land sports. So our focus most of the time remain on land, that is forest, jungle, and mountains. So we do cover this all topics and do's and don'ts in mountain, in jungle, and how to survive. And we have a specific syllabus for survival. So we
Okay.
do cover all these
Survival.
topics.
All right. So, how would a normal day look like for beginners? Especially in the first week, it would be very difficult for a person who's coming from city. Will he have to wake up early at 5 o'clock in the morning?
That's true. Okay. So, ma'am, anybody who want to get into mountaineering or coming for the courses at HMI, we always advise to start routine workout at least 3 months prior to arrival here. Because from plain area, when you're coming to hill terrain, it takes time to acclimatize your body and perform. So in a routine day, the day start around 5:30 with a hot tea, and thereafter from 6 o'clock till 7 o'clock, it's a PT, run, cardio, and physical exercises for whole 1 week here at HMI. So initial 1 hour is spent like this. Thereafter it's a breakfast. Thereafter it's a continuous classes till late evening. Various topics, as I mentioned, we have complete syllabus, medical equipment, introduction, climbing techniques, doing rock climbing, indoor, outdoor, learning basic techniques, and then the complete. We have a test before they go into Sikkim area for our base camp area. In that, the trainees has to cover around 15-kilometer route on hill terrain going up and down with 15 kg of weight carrying in their rucksack. So it's a physical demand to complete this course as well as mental strength is required.
Okay. So I think the bonding between the people who are taking this course together would be awesome because they are doing so much of work together.
Uh, Very well, ma'am. Anyone who get into any kind of adventure, I'm not saying only on mountaineering or adventure course. Even you are doing river rafting, wherever there's a risk, element of risk, the bonding is forever because they share or happiness and sorrow and all kind of difficulties together. And at the end of the course, they come out as a winner.
Okay.
They survive together. They live together. And especially in mountain when we are climbing, we are giving our life to our body. We are giving our lifeline to our co-climber. So the trust, the mutual trust, the confidence, and the bond we develop in mountain while climbing or doing any sort of adventure course is for lifeline.
So you are suggesting that this type of sports, adventure sports, mountaineering, it should be better be done in a group, because in skydiving you can dive alone, for example, or if you are doing scuba diving you can do alone. But in mountaineering it is better to be in a group.
Yeah, it is always group, ma'am, because you interact with various people, and there's a different type of climbing. We call it alpine climbing, we call group climbing. So it's all depend. If you're doing a group activities, it is more of learning, interaction are more, and even in skydiving, we do a lot of stunt, which is a collective effort. I'll share some videos and footage with you.
Sure.
Sure. In which we make various formation. Even in skydiving, we make formation, so that coordination, the bonding, the understanding how the other person is going to react is very important.
All right. The HMI is also into development equipment. Recently, I saw that it has developed some kind of air, what do you say, thing, gadget by which corona patients can, have oxygen. Can you speak a little about that?
Ma'am, I'll not say that we have done any rocket science. Like there's an ambu bag. Unfortunately, I'm not carrying here to show it to you. Ambu bag is a rubberized bag which is used to assist a patient, or per se in our case the trainee who is having respiratory problem or breathlessness in mountain any given time. So by pressing this ambu bag, what we are doing, we are pressing the ambient air and supplying to the patient directly.
Okay.
Now consider a situation where this ambu bag has to be pressed for 6 to 8 hours because of respiratory problem. So instead of pressing this ambu bag manually with our hand, so we have motorized it. We have innovated. We just search on Google because all this concept started when Corona,
Yes.
epidemic started.
Yes.
And to be precise, during March, my 76 trains got stuck at Sikkim at base camp area. By then they came back on 26 March down in Darjeeling. Lockdown was imposed. So we hosted them with us for about 2 months duration. That was the time we thought, okay, what next we can do? And the major question and the worry was that we are lacking behind to have our own ventilator. So I discussed with my medical officer, then I discussed with my mechanic. I want to have this at least a basic system so that if there is any contingency, any crisis, I can support at least my trainees or my staff. So that is how we build up. I'll say Indian Jugaad. It is not full substitute a ventilator, but up to certain extent it can save life.
Okay. Very nice initiative, and I hope it is available for.
I like to add on this one point into that. This is what I say. I'm not a medical officer. I'm not an engineer. I'm an adventure enthusiast. I had done lot of outdoor sports activity. So it is not that somebody has given me any knowledge. Nobody forced me to make an attempt to make this ambu bag automatic system. I did it my own. So this is again I'll give credit to my adventure activities.
Very good. I hope and I wish it is available to other people in addition to people from HMI, so it can be beneficial, because these days when you read news, this kind of product will be very helpful
Yeah,
to.
even I'll share the design with you. You can make at your home.
Oh, really? I can make it at my home.
I'm not making it a copyright. It's open source, ma'am, and
Very
whoever
nice.
support anyone is most welcome.
Very good. This is a very extremely helpful information. I'm sure the people who are watching it will definitely going to use it. So, coming back to HMI, can you please tell me the name of the peaks where you are training? Is it in Darjeeling only, or you take them to some other parts of India also for training?
Ma'am, our glacier and the snowcraft training takes place in Sikkim area, in West Sikkim to be precise. As I mentioned, we have a base camp at a height of 14,600 feet,
Okay.
known as Chorikham.
All right.
All right. So while at the end of the course, at the end of glacier and a snowcraft training at base camp, they do make an attempt to climb a peak as high as around 16,000 feet. Peak name is Ranok, and the advanced course do make attempt to climb. There's a peak called BC Roy, Mount BC Roy, at a height of 18,000 feet. And if weather God permits and trees are fit, they do make attempt to climb Karlum Peak, which is in our base camp. It is all these all three peaks are in our base camp area.
Okay.
Next thing which we have introduced along with our advanced course is Mount Frey. Mount Frey is also located in our base camp area, but it is a bit technical peak, more challenging. Height is only 19,000 feet, but when we compare technical aspect, it is more technical. So we have introduced this peak along with our advanced course with two purpose. One is that after doing advanced course, people have to wait for a long time to go for some expedition. Suppose if even if they go for expedition, they have to invest a huge amount. They have to travel across the places, book through agents, and then climb a peak. So we thought we have a good peak, technical peak in our base camp area. So we club it with our advanced course training, so that by the end of the glacier training, they within that 3 4 days they're exposed and learning some technical climb, the
Okay.
actual expedition.
All right. So, you are an experienced mountaineer and you have won so many awards. I want to know about your routine, sir, so that other people get inspired by you, Jack, as a person. So, my first question to you in this regard is, what do you do in the first 60 minutes of each morning? Because that is the most important time of the day. So, how do you start your day?
Ma'am, my day begins around 5:30 to 6 o'clock with two glasses of lukewarm water, added with the lemon, and of course the very well aware people, they follow honey. So this is the first thing which I do in the morning. Thereafter, a cup of black coffee. Then for that 60 minutes, I'll extend about 1.5 or 2 hours. So after that, I go for my physical fitness regime, which could be cardio, which could be indoor gym training, or which could be yoga. So initial, I'll say 60 minutes. Instead of 60 minutes, I extend to 2 hours. So
Okay.
initial first 2 hours is spent like this.
All right.
Thereafter, we came to office. We start our training routine, etc. Talking to our trainees, interacting with them, supervising their training for the whole day. If you talk personally about me, so this is what I do at initially, I'll say a pre-lunch activity
Okay. Do you do meditation also?
at time.
At times. All
I'll say
right.
I'll not at time, but alternate day. Like today morning I did, so I can say I'm very oftenly I'm doing.
All right. Now let us talk about books. You have achieved so much in life, and if I want to become like you, what books should I read, or what are the books you would like to gift me so that I can learn and try to become like you, improve my thought process.
Ma'am, I can recommend a book, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari,
Okay.
and the Inner Engineering
All
book,
right.
and Bhagavad Gita.
Bhagavad Gita. So, why exactly are you recommending Bhagavad Gita to me uh, and other books? Or how would I change if I read Bhagavad Gita? What benefits will I have? I'm asking on the behalf. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. As I mentioned, that once you get into adventure sports, when you get close to nature, so somewhere at some part of your day to day routine, you are getting into spirituality sometime.
Okay.
And Bhagavad Gita is one of the granth, or I'll say book, which teaches very basics of our existence from the time we arrive on this earth. We take our first breath till we take our last breath. The whole journey and the very basic essence of our living on this earth.
Okay.
Little part, but yes, there's a lot of learning, and it gives peace, inner peace, and more you get into it, so we start living that we have to live for the day, and let anything happen. We should continue with our karma. We should perform our karma in best of our capability and ability, and and the things that the cycle, the time cycle which has to happen, it has to happen. But at least today, what we can do, we must do at our best.
Hmm. Being in the present moment and continuing to do the work that is assigned to you. Okay. Do you take any supplements also? Would you recommend me to take any supplements in addition to the workout, the rigor you are following, the physical rigor?
Ma'am, I am a vegetarian, but at time I take eggs.
Okay.
But nowadays I'm taking protein shake after workout, and I'm keeping my carb and fibers in between, then dry fruits and all kind of whatever you can eat, we must eat, and at the same time we must do workout. So the
Okay.
calories are balanced all the time.
All right. I have two more questions for you in this particular area. First question is, what are the biggest wastes of time for novices in your field? Is there anything you would tell the youngsters who are new in this field not to do? Some people get over enthusiastic, or anything you want to speak, sir?
Ma'am, we say सावधानी हटी दुर्घटना घटी. So first of all, whatever we are doing, bravery, courage have to balance. We are responsible for our life as well as we are responsible for others' lives too.
Yes.
At any given stage, we should not do anything which can endanger anybody's life. Life is precious, and we must make all out effort to safeguard human existence and support anyone who's ever in need. The first thing is that safety is paramount.
Hmm.
Doing adventure, like many people, when we go for any expedition, not only specific to Everest only, we have seen failures in our life. We withdrew from the expedition. We withdrew for about 1,000 feet short of the summit of various peak. But that is not ultimate. The failure is a way to start again and do it better next time. So safety is first thing which we ensure all the time. And this is a message for anybody who's listening to me. Keep the safety aspects always priority. Your own safety and the safety of your team is paramount.
All right. My last question for you, in on a personal level, is, please teach me something in 5 minutes from your field, like something called quick tips. If I am coming to you as a novice, what would you tell me in 5 minutes so I can, like, put it in my mind and use it during my training?
Right time, right place, and right rig. सही समय पे, सही जगह पे, सही ड्रेस कोड के अंदर होना चाहिए. This is the principle which we follow in armed forces, and this is what we teach and tell our trainees also. Discipline is one thing. We do not expect anybody to go left and right. Certain guidelines are given. Adventure is wonderful, stream. Mountaineering is one of the sports where person can try out whatever they want to do in their life. You must get into adventure sports. You must explore the world, but keep the safety aspects always paramount.
Okay. So you are into skydiving also and mountaineering. Is there any favorite, or do you like both of them equally?
I love both of them,
Okay.
but mountaineering is a tough sport because when you are on expedition, so you're out, you are cut off from your family, you're cut off from society for long duration. A normal expedition to 6,000 to 7,000 meters, the time duration takes is about a month, and for 8,000 meters like peak Mount Everest, it's a 2 months. 2 months you're away from your family, you're away from your your comfort zone. And if you talk about skydiving, of course, risk is more. Within fraction of second, when you're falling from sky, you are falling at a speed of 200 feet per second. That means you blink your eyes for 1 second and you're 200 feet down. So while you're operating a parachute, is something going wrong with the main parachute, you have to operate a reserve parachute. So time flies. It's going like a rocket science. So both sports, I'll say all sports have their merits or demerits, and I love to do skydiving as well as mountaineering, and that is what made me to do a jump on the base of Mount Everest.
Great. Very nice. You have been in this field for many years now. Sir, do you want to share any story that is most memorable to you as an instructor or as a mountaineer, whatever comes to your mind?
There are so many memories, ma'am. Like as I mentioned, adventure sports. It is not that you're doing inside your cabin. You are exposed to hostile environment with a team of various people with their different mindset, and especially in mountain, you are together, sharing a common tent, doing all kind of activities in a common area, and like dislikes, everything mellow down there. So you start respecting to each other.
Okay.
At time, I been to Mount Everest up to 24,000 feet. I've been to Mount Lhotse, a peak next to Mount Everest only. We reached to 23,500 feet or so. And similarly, Mount Choyu from China side, we reached around 24,000 feet. Unfortunately, in these three peaks, we could not reach a top because of weather element and something more. And so, on average, we had a casualty too. So there are all kind of mindset. There are all kind of worries, whether we'll success or not, whether we reach on top or not. And at time we get trapped. We got into situation where going up was difficult. It was difficult to come down.
Okay.
I'll narrate you one incident that happened with our team in year 2009. We were making a time to Mount Choyu from Nepal to China side, and initially weather was good, so we reached our summit camp at a height of 24,000 feet. I'll share the video with you at
Okay.
some stage. So we were thinking, okay, weather will be good. So as you are going up, we try to keep our luggage etc. bare minimum, like a sleeping bag. So we decided, okay, two climber will share one sleeping bag. So they're just putting their legs inside the sleeping bag, two of us, and wearing our down jacket, wearing gloves and etc. And we'll survive one night. Just matter of one night. So we reached there 24,000 feet at the summit camp, and the next day we were supposed to go for summit. And somewhere from midnight onward, the weather became very bad. It's a snow blizzards, and the speed was around close to 35 knots. You can see a small tent, snow is fluttering around, it is coming inside, outside, and we were carrying our ration only for one day. So we make assessment. We thought, okay, we are unable to go up. Then my leader asked, "What is next?" So even it is difficult to go down because even going down was so difficult. It could have led to any disaster. So we remained there for almost 2 nights with one day meal and with limited resources. Like I shared, our sleeping bag is shared by two climbers. So next day, after this years, when we start coming down, unfortunately, my leader had a fall while he was coming out from tent, and he developed a severe pain. Later on, it came out as a brain hemorrhage when we diagnosed after coming back to India. So he was about to collapse there. So self and two of my Sherpa roped him We tied the rope and we rescued. We got him back from 24,000 feet to 17,000 feet, crossing all kind of difficult terrain in snow. There were wide crevasses, there were ladders, and when we are coming down or going up in mountain, it is not that we are just going free climb. The ropes are placed. A person has to anchor himself or herself for safety purpose, and before changing the rope from one anchor to another anchor, they have to again there's a procedure to do self anchor to a separate location. So we got him down to our safety, that is base camp. From there, we came back to India, and later it was diagnosed that our leader sustained brain hemorrhage. He was hospitalized for almost frequent hospitalized for 2 months by the time he recovered. So this is one of the incidents which I remember very well, and they were fun time also. They're good time, they're sad time. So we have all kind of memories, long stories.
Very brave you are. Lot of
Even you are brave. There is nothing brave. It is, as I mentioned, it is something which you want to do and you're doing it, taking caution, taking all the safety aspect in your mind and pursuing what you want to do. And you are respecting a human life. You're not leaving your man behind at any stage. Especially we learn in armed forces, never let your men be at behind. So we always take our men along with us wherever we are.
that's a very nice thought. Very good. Not to leave anybody behind. I hope and wish the families in India and around the world can learn from this to take everybody together, to not leave any family member behind. Usually, it happens sometimes. So, we have come to the end of the questions for the podcast. Is there any message you want to give to our viewers? You can please give now. The stage is all yours. Anything you want to say to them?
Ma'am, the in fact the whole world is in a difficult, going through a difficult phase. I need not to say we all are with Corona, and India is not exempted. Being an Indian, being a citizen of this country, we have greater responsibility. One side, our government, whether it's a central government or state government, they are fighting and doing their best to fight against Corona, save human life. At the other front, our nation is handling border issue. As a citizen of this country, I'll say a proud citizen of India, it is our responsibility to stand together, support our government. There might be differences that is leave apart. First, you save human life from corona. Follow the guidelines given by the government of India or the state government. Wearing mask is mandatory. Using sanitizer 2 गज की और 2 मीटर की दूरी maintain करना है. And if you have seen, you must have seen in news, even I have seen news. People are just trying to avoid corona warriors or people who have got into corona infection. Please be with them, support them. If somebody is suffering, it is our moral responsibility as a human being. At least we can give a call. Do you need any support? You need vegetable. You need to any kind of ration supply which we can offer to them. We must do that. And when we talk about country, when we are fighting across the border, our soldiers are there on the border. We all are, promoting boycott Chinese item that we all are aware. So whatever we can do at our best, we must do. Support our government, support our soldiers, support ourselves, and I'm sure we can do wonder. Adding into that, Darjeeling is a good place. Himalayan mountains are fabulous. You need not to go to Switzerland. You need not to go to any of the European or Western country. Promote domestic tourism.
Okay. Wonderful message. Yeah.
Do come to Darjeeling, and we have hostel facilities. We have the guest room. Along with this guest room, you can get into adventure activities. So we have zoological park. at HMI, near to HMI. So everything is all yours. Please drop into HMI any given time.
All right. We'll definitely come. And thank you so much for your time, Group Captain Jai Kishan ji. It was very nice talking to you. I learned so much from you today about bravery, about mountaineering, about life. And I'm sure my viewers are also listening and they will definitely improve their lives by listening to inspiring people like you. Thank you once again and have a nice day, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Jai Bharat.